nice. Angela's been in there and refreshed stuff like crazy.
Yep, and yeah,
so I see that. Right now all the names have got little links, so that basically you can click on them, and up will come your default email, and you can send them email. And go ahead and throw in another record real quick, one without an email, just to show them what happens.
And I'm going to go ahead and and check. Okay, and here's something we'll have to look at in just a second. I went in and started a new line and submit that. So my name's not a link, which is good, but we put stuff on a new line, which would kind of mess up the formatting if someone had typed neat paragraphs and all of a sudden it's all thrown on one line. We need to, and the reason it's doing that is the record is actually being stored with the new line like it's supposed to be. The problem is the HTML doesn't show a new line as a new line. It shows a BR tag as a new line. So we need to actually convert that new line into a BR tag for it to actually be displayed correctly. So what I'm going to do is we need to do a little bit more formatting, this time with comments. So it's kind of like where I formatted the date out into show date. I'm going to go ahead and make a $show comment. And that show comment, now we need to find some way of turning new lines into BRs. There's a built-in function in PHP to do just that. It's called NL2BR. And it takes in whatever you want to convert new lines to spaces to. So $comment. So we'll take comment in, turn new lines into BR tags. Put that in show comment. Well, as a matter of fact, we don't have any reason to keep the old version of comment. So we can just reassign comment instead. I'll take show out. So there we have comment first equals the actual record from the database, but then it equals whatever it is with BR tags.
Looks good.
So that way
we in action.
That way we don't have to change the one down here like we had to do for date. Let's save that and refresh it. And there you go.
Very nice.
And as you can see, Angela also typed stuff on new lines.
Yep, she sure did.
So that's pretty much it for a simple guest book.
Let's alternate the color real quick.
Oh, okay.
For the different rows.
Okay.
Be good to know how to do.
So
it'll at least introduce modulus into the whole mix.
Okay. So here's the two places where I specified cell color. Let me go ahead and set those up and get those ready for actually storing a color in a variable instead of hard coding it. So I'm going to end the string, concatenate, close it up, and then actually go and put, let's say, $BG_color for our variable name. And I'll just copy that line and paste it over the color I have down here. So there we have, now we need to actually specify a color for BG color. So I'll go in right before we actually start echoing out all this HTML, I'll start a new if statement and say if $I modulus 2. Open bracket. Don't like the way it's seen. Okay. So close bracket, and we'll go ahead and set this up to have an else. Lock that in as well. So if I modulus 2, we'll set $BG color to equal, let's say equal that first color we had, so $E. Otherwise, let's use E0, like such. Yeah, like that. Okay. So now I have our color set up. So I'm modulus 2. That'll basically just give the remainder of I divided by 2, and if it's anything other than, if it's odd, then it'll have a remainder, and you'll get a background color of this color. Otherwise, you'll get our alternate color.
So odd and even.
Exactly. So go ahead, grab that, and there we go.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that looking just nice? Okay, so if you want to take 1 second, pull the code back up and just kind of recap over the entire thing.
Okay, so we've got, first thing we did was we created some of the HTML code and then the initial form that we were going to use. We did a little trick in the action to make sure to have PHP fill in the name of the script so we don't have to keep track of that. It'll always submit to itself. And then, of course, set the submit method to post. Specified our fields, their types, and their names. So then we went and we actually established through PHP established a connection to the MySQL server, and we went in there and we started using the predefined variable $_post, which held any data that we might have submitted. Check to make sure that we did in fact write a name, and if we did, go ahead and write all the data in our form into the database. By first loading it into variables and then actually putting those into an insert SQL command, running that command. So finally we went and added some more PHP that wrote a sort of dynamic table by going and creating as many table rows as there were records in the database table. So we had to go in there and load out the various fields we had, and then do some special stuff. It added and we created an extra variable to hold the length of the email to decide whether or not we should even put the email. We formatted the comment to correctly display new lines, and then we went and formatted the date to show in a more human-readable format. And of course, added alternating background colors to the cells.
All right. Well, that's beautiful. So with this, I guess. All you viewers out there, if you're interested, see if you can take this and jazz it up. If you come up with something really cool online that's functional and make it look a little bit nicer than this, hopefully a lot nicer than this, post a link for it on 3dbuzz.com up under the PHP section so that we can take a look at what you've done, what you've learned from this VTM right here. So with that, that's going to conclude this section, and thank you very much. See you guys.